Today we are going to make and decorate a strawberry chiffon cake. You'll need some fresh strawberry juice, and these are all of the ingredients. First, mix the oil and flour. Now add the strawberry juice and egg yolks. Stir until all well combined. As you can see, this method of first combining the oil and flour is simple and won't develop gluten. You can stir it any way you want, and you don't have to sift the flour neither. Now let's whip the egg whites. Add cream of tartar to the egg whites and beat on high speed. Cream of tartar can stabilize the meringue. If you don't have it, you can add a small teaspoon of lemon juice instead. You can also use a hand mixer for this. Both methods will work just fine. When you see big bubbles forming, add a third of the sugar. When the foam becomes finer and silkier, you can add another third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. The foam will continue to get silkier, and you will start to see some texture lines or trails. At this point, you can add the remaining sugar and beat on medium-high speed. Continue beating until you see some stiff peaks. After lifting the whisk, the meringue is stable and firm, and the peak will not drip. I'm going to add a little bit of soft pink food color to the batter so the cake will have some pink color. Just a little bit, not too much. Since the cake has strawberry juice in it, I want it to look more like a strawberry cake. The strawberry juice is not going to make the cake pink. It will actually give it a slightly grayish brown color once it's baked. So a little bit of food color will make it prettier. Scoop about 1/3 of the egg whites to the batter and fold it in gently. This is to lighten the batter initially and prepare it for the rest of the egg whites. Once it's mixed well, change to a spatula and pour it into the egg whites. Continue to fold gently until it's all combined. Repeat this movement until the batter is homogeneous. Don't overdo it. Transfer the batter to the pan immediately. Shake it, tap it a couple of times to get rid of the big bubbles, and draw a few circles with a toothpick to flatten the surface. Place in a preheated oven and bake at 300 degrees for 50 minutes. Personally, I prefer to bake it at 300 degrees for 40 minutes, then increase the temperature to 320 degrees for 5 minutes. This is after a few testing with my oven, as oven temperature varies. If I just bake it at 300 degrees for 50 minutes, even though it's perfectly baked, the top of the cake will be a bit sticky after it's cooled. So if you have the same problem, you can do the same switch. Once it's out of the oven, tap it on the table once, then cool it upside down. It will take 2 to 3 hours to cook completely. While waiting for the cake to cool, let's make the garnish. I'm going to use candy melts to make some leaves for the strawberry. Make some green and white candy melts in a bowl and microwave it for about a minute to melt. Don't mix it too evenly. It's prettier to be able to see the different shades of white and green. Prepare a few strips of plastic sheet. If you don't have this, you can also use parchment paper. Now dip just the back of the spoon into the candy melt, then wipe it off on the plastic sheet. I'm making leaves with candy melts because I'm going to cut off the strawberry stems, but I like to have some green color on my cake. I always prefer everything on my cakes to be edible, that's why I usually cut off the strawberry stems. This is totally my personal preference. You can skip this step and use a whole strawberry instead. Next, I'm going to bend the sheet and insert it into a cardboard tube to set, so that they will have a very slight curve. You can skip this step if you don't have any tube you can use. This will get hardened very quickly in the fridge. I'm also going to dip the strawberries in the candy melt so the juice won't bleed into the cake, because I cut off the stems. Now that the leaves are set, we can remove them from the sheet carefully. I'm going to stick some leaves to 2 of the strawberries. Now put this in the fridge to set. Now that the cake is cool, remove it from the pan carefully, then slice it into 3 layers. Remember to flatten the top as well. For this cake, besides the regular whipped cream frosting, I'm going to make a batch of strawberry whipped cream frosting as well. First, put the freeze-dried strawberries into a Ziploc bag. Then crush them with a rolling pin. You can also use a blender for this. Save it to get rid of any big pieces. Making strawberry whipped cream frosting is very simple. Simply mix the heavy cream, crush freeze-dried strawberries, and powdered sugar in the mixing bowl, and whip on high speed until it thickens. And this is it. Let's start decorating. Apply a little bit of cream at the bottom to secure the cake to the cake board. Apply a thin layer of strawberry jam on it. Pipe some regular whipped cream frosting around the edge. I'll provide a link on how to make this in description below. Then apply a layer of strawberry whipped cream frosting in the middle. You can also just use the strawberry whipped cream for the entire cake. Simply double the ingredients. Now add some diced strawberries. Cover the strawberries with another thin layer of whipped cream. Repeat these steps. The top layer is usually the bottom of the cake. This is because it's usually the flattest part and will be easier to frost. When decorating a chiffon cake, I usually only use whipped cream frosting, never a buttercream. This is because chiffon cake is very light and airy. You want to match it with something light and airy as well. Buttercream is just too heavy. Smooth out the cream the best you can. I'm going to put some roasted almonds on the side of the cake. Now I'm going to pipe the rest of the strawberry whipped cream frosting on top. Time to add the garnish. Keep adding the garnish. Pipe some whipped cream on it until you are satisfied with how it looks. And this is now completed.